Hello, everyone. Welcome to KERB TV. My name's Jack, host for today. Hope you've got that Friday feeling. It's since it's Friday, weekend's about to begin. I've got a nice beer, so going to start off with a nice little cheers to Ollie, co-host and producer. Cheers.
I unfortunately are still waiting on a delivery of some delicious beers. So,
cheers. How long has that been in the fridge?
Only a few days. I had to get some interim beers, and I signed up for Beer 52 to get that trial period, and then I've just forgotten about it, and now I've got another crate of beer coming. So
maybe you'll find something special. So cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, man.
See you in a bit.
So we have another lockdown lunch today, and we're going to be cooking a banh mi with Alex from Ugly Duck, who, like all our other traders, isn't trading at the moment, and who you can support via our Keep the Wheels Turning campaign, which has a link here. So we're going to now go over to Alex, who's in his lovely kitchen in his parents' house in Leicester. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. That's
great.
It.
How are you? Cheers.
Very well. Yeah, very well. Yeah, very excited to cook today. It should be fun.
Cool. And we're also joined by the lovely Rupert, KERB's own market manager, West India Key, and taco impresario. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I've got an alcoholic option today.
Okay.
Trying to be good.
Trying to be good. Well, I'm failing for sure. So we're gonna be cooking a banh mi today, kind of what Alex is well known for in terms of his street food business, Ugly Duck. So Alex, I'm gonna give over to you. If you could just go through the ingredients that you have, which are also in the comments of the YouTube video. Over to you.
Yeah, sure. So a banh mi is a Vietnamese baguette. And it's traditionally made with like a crusty, shitty roll. Any sort of 1970s bread is perfect. And then you've got like a fatty, savory sauce. So it's traditionally pate or mayo. Today I'm doing it with a satay sauce, so just like spiced peanut butter. For that, I've got some peanut butter from the shop, a bit of oil to let it down, a few spices to make it nice and savory. And then you've got some sort of protein. So usually that's like Vietnamese ham. But today we're just going to do a glazed tofu to keep it vegan. And then to cut through all of that savoriness, you're going to need a really nice bright pickle. So traditionally they use daikon, but I can't get any daikon. So I just use cabbage, a bit of carrot, some onion just to really pep it up. But you can use anything that's crunchy, anything you've got lying around. Radishes are great. Cucumber's great. Even turnip would be fantastic. So yeah, whatever you've got. We've got some soy sauce for the glaze, some honey somewhere. Here's the honey. Some vinegar. I like any white vinegar is fantastic. Rice vinegar, white wine, cider vinegar. Some coriander for a bit herby. The spices I've got is ginger, ground coriander, some chili powder, some cumin, which is really nice for the satay sauce, and a bit of cinnamon. Also got some sugar to help balance things out. And that's it. Obviously some salt. I might make a little sambal as well, some fresh chilies, because I love them, especially with the satay banh mi. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we got.
And so what are you using as your like main protein? Are you using tofu or chicken?
Yeah, so I'm using tofu today, but you could use anything. You could use beef, chicken, pork. I really love tofu personally. It's fantastic.
Okay, cool.
You could Vietnamese ham as well. Rupert's using aubergine, especially if you get that skin really nice and crisp. It's a really good filling.
Yeah. Let's go over to Rupert and see what he's got then. So you're using an aubergine instead of tofu. Is that right?
So I'm going to be using an aubergine. I'm going to crisp that up really nice, and then we'll make the satay sauce as well. For the pickle, I've got some cabbage here. I'm going to be using, because like literally just what I found in my fridge, some celery, some spring onions, an onion as well. I've got a carrot as well. I'll whack in there. And then that'll be like a really nice sort of crunchy pickle as well to go with it all, with that nice fat sort of.
And the baguette?
The baguette. So I couldn't find any crunchy baguette, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a burger bun. I'm going to toast that, make it nice and crispy, so it sort of replicates like the kind of crunch, I guess, of it.
Yeah.
But I guess you can kind of use anything that you can find.
Yeah, it's a banh mi basically.
It's a banh mi, exactly. So any bun will work.
Great. Okay, so let's go back to Alex. And Alex, what are you going to start off with?
Yeah, so basically you want to get your bread in the oven. Just get it hot, crispy on the outside at least. Just on a low setting, just to warm, or if they're hot bakes, then just cut them to the packet instructions. I think the first thing to do is get the sauce going, because that always takes the longest. So what you want is just like a load of peanut butter, which is your base really. And when you add spices and water to this, sort of like in a mayonnaise, it's going to make it a lot thicker. So you're going to need to let it down with some oil first, because you'll find it will just seize up otherwise. So I put a generous amount of oil in, more than you think you'll need, because it really will seize up.
And you're using crunchy peanut butter, right?
Yeah, crunchy peanut butter, but if you haven't got crunchy peanut butter, then any peanut butter will do. You can use another nut butter, they're all great. So now you've got just like loose peanut butter. The next thing you want to do is you want to make it spicy. So I think the nicest thing to make it savory is some ground cumin. So I would put in about, let's say about a quarter of a teaspoon. This is going to be quite cloying if you don't make it spicy enough. So I'd add a bit of chili powder as well. Maybe about a quarter of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, depending on how hot it is. Ground ginger is really nice. So again, I would add about a good amount of this, maybe like a teaspoon. Ground coriander. This gives it a really nice background flavor. So I add about a teaspoon of that, just a bit more than the ginger. And then all these flavors are quite pronounced. So it's quite nice to round it out with a bit of cinnamon. So I'm just going to add about maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon just to round it out. So that's your basic spice mix, and you can adjust it. You can adjust it later to how you feel. This peanut butter is going to be quite bland at the moment, so we're going to add some soy sauce to make it savory. Any soy sauce will do. I'm using a Chinese light soy sauce. It's quite nice, but the Japanese ones are great. Vietnamese is great. They're all pretty good, to be honest. So now you're going to have a sort of savory peanut spread. And at the moment, this is probably going to be too savory, so I'm just going to add a bit of pinch of sugar to balance it out. Because what you're really looking for is just like spiced peanut butter. So just try it with the back of the fork. This is a little salty, so I'm going to add a bit more sugar and a bit more peanut butter.
And depending
on how salty your soy sauce is, I need to add more. But
you're basically looking for a balance of those flavors, right? Like salty and sweet and sharp.
Yeah, so you should really just taste the cumin. You should taste that in a sort of moderate way. It should be a little spicy and a little savory from the soy sauce. If it's too salty, you can add more oil or peanut butter or sugar. I like mine quite gingery, so I'd add like quite a bit of ground ginger. I think that's really nice.
And it's quite nice also because you're using a lot of like spices and flavors that you're also going to use in different ways for like the filling. Like you're going to use fresh coriander, you might use fresh ginger in the pickle. You're going to use soy sauce for like marinating like a bit of the tofu or chicken or whatever. So it's nice having those flavors coming from different places in different ways.
Yeah, so it's nice really just to layer it up, I'd say. You might find you need quite a lot of sugar for this, to be honest, because it's going to be one that only thinks it's like a tiny bit sweet in your sandwich. And I like to make my pickle quite aggressively vinegary.
Okay. Let's have a little look at Rupert's now and see how he's doing with his sauce. If you just want to show it to the camera.
So this is my satay. I've put an extra bit of. I've got a dark soy sauce, make it nice and salty, and then sort of I added a bit more sesame oil and a bit more sugar, just to sort of, again, you're only like fragrant. You're making the peanut butter sort of a bit more fragrant, a bit more savoury. So I'm actually really happy with that. I did the same as Alex. I added a bit more brown ginger, just to make it a bit more hit on there. And I've also put a bit more chili powder in as well, just to sort of make it a bit more fiery as well. I quite like mine spicy, so I put a bit more chili in there. But yeah, I've got that sort of same consistency.
Rupert's bang on there. I think you want it to be nice and bright, nice and savoury, and nice and spicy. Because it's really going to bring the dish together. And you've got a lot going on as well, so you're going to be able to balance that out later.
And obviously, the other day we had Robert on the show, and he was making a satay sauce. So I'd love to know what he thinks of like your satay sauce versus his satay sauce, how they differ.
My bastardization. I mean, I don't think you'd use peanut butter for one, but you're basically making spicy, savory peanut butter. And
there's 2 million different ways.
I'm gonna put it on like a medium high heat. We're gonna get going with this. We're gonna get going with our protein. So I've got tofu here. To make the spice mix for the protein, you're gonna want about a teaspoon of ground coriander, about half that amount of ginger, maybe half a teaspoon. And then you're going to want a bit of cinnamon again, just to round out the flavors. The cinnamon's really nice, actually. I think it's a very underused spice. It makes things quite warm, and it really rounds out flavors, which I think is important for balance. And then a bit of chili powder just to make it spicy. This is like acting like your black pepper component in traditional Western food. And then we're going to add some salt. I quite like about 1 gram of salt per 100 grams of whatever you're doing. So
in layman's terms,
that's about a third of a teaspoon for half this pack of tofu. Okay, so I'm at about a third of a teaspoon. All right.
Okay. So do you have any tips for people who like are cooking tofu at home? Because I know a lot of people are a bit like weird and funny about tofu, and like not really sure like how to approach cooking it. I think it's like one of those textural things that some people just aren't really sometimes sure about.
You just got to think about how it's going to work within the dish. So this, everything in the, I want something that's a little chewy in the dish. So how I'm going to cook it is I'm going to cook it, I'll probably save that tofu for another day. I'm going to cook it so it's crisp on one side and then soft on the other side. I think that's really nice, and it sort of replicates grilled meat. But you just got to be sensible. Like, do you want a silken tofu that's soft and it's really delicious to eat, like maybe in a mapo tofu, or do you want something that's like hard and chewy because you've got a lot of other soft textures like the peanut butter as well? Like, you've got to think about how it works in the dish.
And it's just really good at sopping up flavors.
Yeah, and I think the flavor of the tofu itself is quite nice. I mean, I think what people get wrong with, I'm just putting the spice mix on now. I think what people get wrong with vegetarian cooking is they're so used to just seasoning meat and not seasoning any of the other part of the dish. So I think if you season vegetables as much as you season meat, they're just as delicious. Because everyone's used to putting loads of salt on their steak, but like, do you ever put any salt in your cauliflower? So I'm just gonna, I've only put the spice mix on the top side of the tofu. Now, if you had chicken or beef, I'd probably put it on both, but I want to get a really crisp texture on the bottom side and leave the soft satay quite like raw and
Yeah. So whilst that's cooking, let's catch up with Rupert. And Rupert's cooking with aubergine. So do you have any advice, Alex, for Rupert and what he's doing?
So the aubergine's got the skin. So I just cut it so you've got a lot of skin per bite showing. So I think cutting it into battens is nice. Every bit's got a bit of skin on it. I think that's really nice.
That's what I did.
And then cook it quite hard on the skin side, get that nice and crisp, and then get a little bit of caramelization on the other side. And then we're going to glaze it. So,
Amazing.
once you've got your protein on, the next thing to,
So yeah,
we'll do is to make a glaze, I think. Actually, no, we'll make the pickle next.
Okay.
So with the pickle, traditionally you'd use daikon and carrot. You'd make quite a sweet pickle, but I find that a little cloying. So I quite like to make my pickle quite bright. With vinegar. So I'm just gonna take some carrot and cut them into battens. If your knife skills aren't very good, you can just use a grater. I'm just going to cut them into battens. You want to cut the carrot reasonably fine because it's quite a hard texture, unlike the cabbage. So don't worry if your knife skills aren't very good. I mean, I've done this really roughly. Turn that down a bit.
So what other
whatever vegetables you've got. Say again?
what other vegetables are you gonna use in the pickle?
I'm going to use a bit of cabbage and a bit of red onion. I think onion's quite nice because it's quite a bright flavour and it really lifts the pickle, I think. If you've got some ginger, I love to add a bit of sliced ginger. I mean, sadly I haven't got any, but a bit of sliced ginger is lovely. It adds a bit of, well, it makes it a bit brighter again and adds a bit of complexity. So I've just got some carrot. I'm just going to put it in the bowl.
So I was going to ask you, Alex, why did you name the business Ugly Duck? For anyone who's wondering.
To be honest, I wanted something quite character based. Yeah, I wanted something that's character based, and I wanted something a bit different and a bit fun. I knew that it was going to be confusing. I didn't really care, I guess.
Do you have a favorite?
I've got some cabbage as well.
Do you have a favorite duck recipe?
Favorite duck recipe? I really like duck. Sort of done quite traditionally French, where the skin's nicely rendered. Cooked medium well, actually. It's controversial. I don't like duck rare. It's pretty disgusting.
Do you do a duck banh mi at all?
I like it served with maybe some buns and some like cabbage that's been blackened a bit. I think that's really nice with a sauce maybe made from some pork and I think maybe a bit of soy sauce. Like quite traditionally French, to be honest. I love duck pancakes. I mean, who doesn't? So we got this pickle now. And actually I'm gonna add a bit of red onion as well.
We're just going to have a quick little look at Rupert and what he's chopping up for his pickle. So, Rupert, what are you putting in your pickle?
So, at the moment, I put some cabbage, put a touch of bit of celery in there as well because I love celery. And then I'm going to add some red onion, and then I'm going to get going with the pickle sauce as well. At the moment, my aubergine's cooking. It smells really good. I wish there was smell-o-vision right now. That cinnamon is really sort of made my kitchen smell really nice now. So I think the cinnamon is definitely a good tip in there. My buns are still toasting and my satay is just to one side resting, ready to rock and roll. So yeah, I'm just going to chop this onion, add it to my pickle, and then I am pretty much there.
Cool. Okay, we'll go back to Alex and see how he's doing. Hey.
Right. So the pickle. We've got some crunchy vegetables in there. As I say, if you've got ginger, that's really nice. I'm going to add a pinch of sugar, but nowhere near as much as you'd probably find in traditional pickle recipes. And then you just want to add quite a bit of vinegar.
So what vinegar are you using?
I'd say a good couple of, I'm using a rice vinegar and a white wine vinegar. They're the two best ones, but any white vinegar you've got is great. The rice is probably the best, I'd say, but any white vinegar is great. So you want to just massage the vinegar into the vegetables. A pinch of salt's quite nice, but it's not necessary. And really what you want this to taste like, you want it to taste pretty bright, to be honest, because there's a lot of peanut butter you're going to need to cut through. It's quite nice to taste a piece of cabbage. It's always a good barometer.
Yeah. So it's like quite similar to like a sauerkraut recipe, but you're using like different kinds of vinegars, you know, more on that kind of Asian slant.
Yeah. I'd say to know when your pickle's sharp enough is you just want to taste a bit of cabbage, and you don't want it to taste sulfury anymore, and you want to sort of taste the vinegar and the vegetable in sort of equal measure, I'd say. Or another good way to test is just to dip your vegetable in your sauce, and then if it tastes well balanced to you, then that's great.
That's a really good tip, actually.
The vinegar and the pickle really counterbalance the sauce. So I think that's pretty good. I might add a little bit more vinegar.
Okay.
If you've got some sesame oil as well, that's really nice. Adds a nice bit of complexity. It's quite nutty as well. I think it's really nice. So you can see our tofu is coming on nicely. It's got quite a crisp edge. So this is going to be a good time to glaze it. If you've got meat, just cook that normally. You want it to be quite crisp, I guess, and done nicely in the middle. So our tofu is crisp. So we're going to make a glaze for it. For the glaze, I'm just going to use some light soy sauce. You probably want about 2 tablespoons. I'd say a bit of honey or a bit of sugar. So, and then a bit of water as well.
So you're going to base this over the protein, right, to kind of thicken up in the pan?
Yeah, this is just for the protein. So you want this to taste, I guess, equal parts sweet and salty, I'd say. Yeah, that's nice. So I'd say about a tablespoon of honey, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and maybe 2 tablespoons of water gets you in a good place. So now our tofu is nicely cooked on one side and crisp. Just gonna, to be honest, I don't bother flipping it because it's tofu. But if you had meat or aubergine, you'd probably want to flip it. I'm just gonna glaze it in the sauce. You might want to add a bit more oil at this point as well, because then you get a nice caramelization.
And what kind of consistency are you looking for the? Oh. Okay. Well, I think we'll go over to Rupert and see how his aubergine is doing. Do you want to move? You can move your laptop closer to the computer, to the hobs, if you want.
Yeah, no worries. So I've added my glaze to the aubergine, and I've slowly letting that sort of reduce a bit more to make it a bit thicker. Smelling really, really good. But what I did is just got soy sauce, a bit of honey, touch of salt, just to sort of really glaze it. And I added a bit of sesame oil as well. And now that's sort of reducing, becoming nice and a bit more sticky. It's smelling really, really good. And that aubergine I caramelized before, so I've got a nice sort of crispy edge, like Alex said, on the skin. So that's looking really good now. I'm happy with that.
Great.
Yeah, looking good.
Cool. Okay, we'll go back to Alex. And how's his tofu doing? Oh, there we go. Here he is. Oh, you're just cutting out a bit, Alex.
I'm just gonna make. Oh, just because I'm spicy. So, right. Am I cutting out?
A little bit, but I think you're okay now.
Right, with this tofu, you can see the glaze is sort of sticking now. So I think this is a nice time to turn it off. The glaze is starting to caramelize and it's sticking to the tofu. So I think it's a nice time to turn it off. I'm just going to leave it, put it on the side. I'm going to make a quick sambal as well, just with some pounded up chilies. So I quite like this, quite spicy.
Yeah, so
it's going to be chilies pounded up.
Robert from Elar told us the other day that every time he makes his sambal, he thinks of you.
Yeah, this sambal's like really, really rough and ready. I mean, there's literally nothing in it apart from chilies, maybe a small amount of salt. I don't like messing around with like garlic and onions, and it's just nice to have the flavor of chilies. If you ferment this sambal as well, it makes it even more delicious. But I mean, maybe that's a little project. So I'm literally just bashing up some chilies.
Okay.
Really
so I was going to ask you a question, Alex.
If you don't have this is absolutely fine. You can just make your.
You could just add another chili sauce, right? So I was going to ask you a question, Alex. So you studied physics at uni, am I right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So I was going to ask you which planet would you describe yourself as?
Say again?
So yeah, most people probably don't know this, but you studied physics at uni. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, which planet would you describe yourself as?
Which planet would I what?
Describe yourself as, like, if you were a planet. Are you Pluto? Are you Jupiter? And tell us. Oh, I think the induction hob is kind of interfering with the signal a bit. Anyway, let's go to Rupert and see where he's at.
Sorry, my signal.
Hello.
So Rupert, are your aubergines ready?
Yeah, so my aubergines are set to one side now. My pickle's done. I'm waiting for Alex to tell me what to do with my satay sauce. My buns are pretty much toasted. They've actually crisped up really nice. They're finished in the oven now. So I'm ready to build it.
Okay, cool. So I think Alex has taken his baguettes out of the oven, so we'll go over to him now.
Perfect.
Okay, so with a baguette, you just want to slice it in half, obviously. Try and not do it like a moron. I mean, I've done this so many times and I still mess up. You're going to want to fit loads of filling in. So I just like to take out some bread. You can eat that later with the satay sauce. It's quite nice. Because you want to fit loads of filling in. So basically with the sauce, I like to just put a generous amount on the bottom layer.
Oh, Christ.
I like to put a generous amount on the bottom layer. And you want to sort of wave it a bit. So you've got areas where you've got more and less. I mean, that's really going to help give you a complexity when you eat the sandwich. And then a bit of sauce on the top, just for a bit of better mouthfeel. And then you want to get your tofu or whatever protein you've got, and then just put it in.
Yeah, you can see where it's all picked up the marinade, right? Like you can see like it's all darkened and blackened from the heat of the pan and from the salt.
Yeah, it's just like nicely caramelized sugars as well. So you want to get your tofu and then just I like quite a generous amount of pickle. Like you kind of want it to be like falling out the sandwich a bit. And then I'm gonna put some sambal on as well. Maybe some coriander first. So I like a lot of coriander when I do this. I treat it a bit like a salad more than a herb, to be honest. My sister absolutely hates coriander, and everyone says it's a genetic thing. So that's why we think she's adopted, but that hasn't been proven.
It would explain my good looks.
It would explain her good looks. And
Oh yeah.
probably other things. So we've got loads of coriander. Just put it on with as much abandon as you like. It's really better if you load it on. And then I've got this really rough sambal, which is literally just pounded chilies and salt.
This is giving me anxiety this much.
It's giving anxiety this much chili.
Yeah.
But, you really won't taste it that much. And then just pop your lid on. Really.
Perfect.
And then there's your satay tofu banh mi.
Okay. So can you give us a money shot of cutting it in half and having a bite?
You cut it in half off.
Yeah, sure. So it's quite a messy one, to be honest. So it's really good for the camera. You know you've done it right when you've got enough cut from the pickle to make it nice and bright and Moorish, and your sauce is really savoury.
Happy with it?
It's really good.
More pickle.
Pickles in.
Okay. That looks amazing. I'm very, very hungry now. Let's have a little look at Rupert's with the burger bun and the aubergine. So we're just going to flip over to him. So let's have a look. Rupert, do you want to show it to the camera?
This is it with the open top. So I've got my aubergine, my satay on the bottom, and then a pickle. Instead of using sambal, I just use sriracha. I thought that was quite a nice option to have instead of chili. I absolutely love sriracha as well. It's really delicious. And then I've got another one here. I've got a little burger. I've cut it in half. It's like kind of like a nice small little lunch snack, really. It crisps up really nicely in the oven. Maybe a little bit too overdone, but it's nice and crunchy. Sort of replicates that, nice crunchy bread. And then now I'm going to have a little try.
Okay.
Tastes great. Got the fat, the acidity, the chili. Really good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for cooking along with us, Rupert. Alex, thank you so much for showing us how to cook this. One last question for you before you go. What planet would you describe yourself as?
Say again?
What planet would you describe? He doesn't want to describe himself as a planet.
He's on another planet already.
He's on another planet. What planet?
Describe myself as a planet. Oh, okay.
Because he did a physics degree, so I want to know.
I guess Venus, because I've got a really thick atmosphere and very hot to handle.
Perfect.
Despite not being the sun. There you
Thank
are.
you.
That
was a great answer. Thank you so much for cooking with us, and enjoy your banh mi.
I really will. Thank you, Jack. Lots of love.
Bye. And thanks, Rupert, as well, for cooking along. Okay, so that was fun. You can rewatch this video if you want to see how Alex cooks his banh mi. You can support Alex's street food business, Ugly Duck, and any of our other traders at kerbfood.store, which is just here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my beer now. Plans for the weekend. I'm going to make some tacos tonight. Rupert gave me a nice sweet potato taco recipe. And yeah, salute. Enjoy. Have a good weekend and see you soon. We're going to be doing a workshop on Monday about sustainability and street food. So we're going to be talking to suppliers and why now is a really good time to try out new suppliers or and really, really good produce for your own business. Have a great weekend. Bye.